Purpose-inspired TV is under construction. During this process, we invite you to step into the journey. By joining our team, you have the chance to shape the very fabric of this channel with your creative ideas and skills. We believe that the true essence of innovation lies in collaboration, and together, we can create something truly extraordinary. We will provide content that ignites your passion, inspires personal growth, and encourages a positive impact on society. Our focus is on delivering shows that are entertaining, thought-provoking, educational, and uplifting. We want to hear your voice, your vision, and your recommendations for individuals you would love to see on our channel. We aim to create a channel that resonates deeply with viewers, challenging them to think bigger, dream bolder, and live a life of purpose. So, join us today, and together, we can make a difference, one viewer, one show, and one purpose at a time.
Okay, it just popped up, said my mic was muted. So thank you for telling me my mic was muted. All right, how's everybody doing? How is everybody doing this evening? I guess you can see that finger. It's test time. We're gonna take a test today. So my question to you, so do you know about we've been talking about immigration a lot. I should just lay this light down. That's not my show. Okay, get back to it. So we've been discussing immigration and citizenship and a lot of those type things. And it just came across to me, or reminded me, or however you want to say it. I just remembered, that a lot of people that's trying desperately to become United States citizens, and a lot of United States citizens take it for granted. They really don't care. They don't really want to participate in the citizenship, the different duties of a citizen. So I thought of some of the process that people have to go through to become a citizen, and one of them is taking a test. Yep. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, part of the process is taking a test, and there are 100 questions that they can study. So I thought it was going to be like a 100 question test, but it's not. So they're going to randomly give you questions from those 100 questions. So my question, would you be able to pass this test? So that is my question. And so what do you think? Do you think you can pass the test? Do you think you can pass the test? So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to take the test, Professor Joe, for this evening. So I'm going to bring up the test. See how much you know. What happened to the test? I had the test. Thank you. Give me a second. Let me find the test again. Come on. I was looking right at it. It's one of these buttons. I think what I did was went to another site. Give me a second. So go ahead and start refreshing different things in your head about what you know about the government, what you know. So are you ready? Hold on a second. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Guess I should give some people some time to come in on the live also. Okay. All right. Move this around. Let me see if anybody around to participate in the test. I don't know if y'all can type fast enough to put your answers in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna bring up. I'm gonna slide the chat over there. Push that button right there, and then I'm gonna bring this over here. That's huge. I'm sorry, y'all. Just a second. Slide this over here. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Join in on this test. Do you know enough to be a citizen? So I don't know if get too much participation, but I'm gonna go through them. Okay, like I said, these if the person would like to become a United States citizen, this is the information that they will have to know. And part of it is, if I'm not mistaken, I think, especially with the new administration, it has to be done in English. So you have to learn enough English to pass the test. Like I said, I think that the test is done in English and it's a verbal test. So they are in your face, asking you questions. You can't, like how I survived many a test with multiple choices. You can get to continue to read over and try to pick out the right answer. It's not that kind of test. They can ask you a question and you have to spit out an answer without really nothing even to look at to help you out. So here we go. Are you ready? We're going to go through this test. See if you can learn something, see if you can remember something. Starting off with number one. I don't know if it's in this particular order on the test, when they have to take the test. I think people should have to do a refresher every so often. So people get kind of lazy and start not appreciating their citizenship. So probably like every 5 or 10 years, they have to go through a process to prove that they're still worthy to be a citizen. I think if we did something like that, I guess I shouldn't even be saying stuff. I'm just being funny. But somebody might take that idea and sign an executive order and make everybody take a test, but a loyalty test. But so we're going to get into it. So, yeah, like I said, if you want to jump in, chime in, jump into the comments. So, do you know these answers? Would you be able to pass this test to become a United States citizen? Starting off with number one. Number one, what is the supreme law of the land? What is the supreme law of the land? And since, like I said, I am not talking with people directly, and I don't think people can type that fast, I'm just going to go through them. I'm going to give you a few seconds to at least think about it. What is the supreme law of the land? If you were thinking the Constitution, bing, you got it. Supreme law of the land is the Constitution. Moving on. Am I going to do this? I'm just going to read up so y'all can jump in with answers. Number two, what does the Constitution do? What does the Constitution do? Do you remember the president was just asked that question? Well, he was asked a question about the Constitution. And he says about peace and love and joy. But it's not. The Constitution is no, I'm sorry. It's the, we get back to it. So, what is the Constitution? I'm trying to stay on track. What is the Constitution? It's a set up. I think let me see, the persons could just answer, I think, two of these. When it has multiple answers, they have to answer with two answers. I can't even talk straight. Two answers. So what does the Constitution do? It sets up the government. defines the government, protects basic rights of all Americans. Seems like our rights are under attack right now. Some people need to go back to the Constitution. Number 3, the idea of self-government is in the first 3 words of the Constitution. What are the first 3 words of the Constitution? Think about it in your head. I know you know it. The first 3 words in the Constitution is we the people. We the people, not we the government. It's we the people. Moving on. Number 4, what is an amendment? What is an amendment? What does it mean when somebody say the amendment, or they need to make an amendment? That is a change. I wish I should be playing this with the kids. Okay, it's a change to the Constitution or addition to the Constitution. Moving on. What do we call the first 10 commandments? Sorry. What do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution? What are the first 10 amendments to the Constitution? The first 10 amendments to the Constitution is the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights, a list of our rights as citizens, the Bill of Rights. Again, they're under attack. Number 6, what is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? So the First Amendment gives you a particular right, and there's multiple rights in the First Amendment. Did you think? I'm going to call them out. So see, do I say something that you said? Thinking. So one of the rights or freedoms from the First Amendment, we know the freedom of speech. We should be able to, we're a free country, we're supposed to be able to say what we want to say. That's under attack. Freedom of religion. That's under attack. Freedom of assembly. We're supposed to be able to assemble together. If they want to have a peaceful protest, they can. But I believe that's maybe a thing of the past. Freedom of press. The press is under attack. And the freedom to petition the government. We're supposed to be able to go to the government and discuss our grievances. All right, did y'all know those? Moving on, number 7. How many amendments does the Constitution have? Do you know that? How many amendments does the Constitution have? The Constitution has 27 amendments. We have 27 amendments. And so I'm really, it's something I see up here. If you're 65 years old, 65 years old or older, and have been a legal permanent resident of the United States for 20 years or more, you may study just the questions that have the marks with the asterisk beside it. So there are some, I don't know how many that would be. So I guess there's another test for those who have older people who have been here for more than 20 years. So I'm not sure, but yeah, they got other different questions for them. So number 8, what did the Declaration of Independence do? That's what the question was. The president was asked, what did the Declaration of Independence do? Or what was it? And he said it was represented peace and love and happiness and that kind of thing. Declaration of Independence. Declaration of Independence means I'm declaring that I'm breaking up with you and I don't need you no more. That's a breakup letter. That's what that is. I'm getting my own independence. So it was nothing lovely, really nothing nice and peaceful about the Declaration of Independence. So the Declaration of Independence, announced our independence from Great Britain. It declared our independence from Great Britain. So basically it's saying we're announcing to the world we made it. We wrote it on paper and signed it. That we let the world let it be known that we are announcing our independence from Great Britain. We declaring it and said that the United States is free from Great Britain. So we let the world know that we were broke up. We were no longer part of Great Britain. So that wasn't a happy, peaceful, lovely day or event or paperwork. So number 9, what are 2 rights in the Declaration of Independence? And one of them I was studying that one part. It says 2 rights are life and liberty. So that's kind of vague. And then the pursuit of happiness. What does that mean? And I forgot, I was studying that part, the pursuit of happiness. So we have a right to pursue happiness. So when do you ever get happiness? That's something that you'll continue to chase out there. Instead of being in a state of happiness, it's telling us that we have the right to spend the rest of our lives pursuing after happiness. I prefer not to pursue after happiness. I prefer to be happy with the state I'm in. But anyway, I digress, getting kind of deep. But so the Declaration of Independence saying that we can have life, okay, and liberty. So our liberty, what does liberty mean? And the pursuit of happiness. Number 9, what is freedom of religion? That's kind of basically everybody understand that. What is freedom of religion? You can practice any religion and not practice a religion. So basically the government, like some countries, they have a particular religion. And so basically we will establish that we did not have an official religion. Looks like they're trying to turn to official religion, but officially the country does not have a official religion. We're called sometimes a Christian country, which we are not, but you're supposed to have the rights to practice any religion whatsoever. Number 11, what is the economic system of the United States? What is the economic system of the United States? So we have a capitalist economy and a market economy. That's the word, what answers they're looking for. Basically, we're a capitalist economy. Number 12, what is the rule of law? What is the rule of law? That is a powerful question right there. And we expect the new citizens to know this. And even the old rested citizens should know this. So what is the rule of law? The rule of law is, and it's 4. I think you can give 2, you can answer 2 of the 4. So the 2 of the 4 laws, rule of law is number 1, everyone, it says everyone with a capital letter, everyone, I believe from the president all the way down, or all the way up, everyone must follow the law. Number 2, leaders must obey the law. So just in case somebody decided they didn't fall under everyone, they got another one that says leaders, just in case leaders thought that didn't pertain to them. So now leaders must obey the law. And just in case some other leaders still try to say they're not talking about them, then it says the government must obey the law. So, okay, so now we got everyone. We got the leaders. Then we got the government. So that's everybody in the government. And just in case we missed anybody, we think we missed anybody, no one is above the law. So that should cover everything. So nobody should be able to escape the rule of law. Some people are bending it and some people are escaping it. Seems that way, but under our Declaration of Independence and Constitution, the rule of law Says everyone must follow the law. Okay. We're down to 13, system of government. Number 13. There is one branch. I'm sorry, that's not a thing. Name one branch or part of the government. So we know that there's 3 branches of the government. We should know that there's three branches of the government. So y'all know? Yeah. I think most American kids, you went to school in America, you should know these. But here we go. Congress and the legislative. Then you got the president, that's the executive, and then the courts, that's judicial. Congress, president, and the courts. Number 14, what stops one branch of the government from becoming too powerful? Whoa, what's going on in our government now? Does it seem like one branch is becoming more powerful than the rest? Does it look like one branch has given up their powers and then another branch is being disobeyed? Let me put it that way. So what stops one branch from becoming more powerful than another branch? Checks and balances and separation of power. So all 3 branches should have certain powers to help keep the other branch in check. That's not happening right now. Number 15, who is in charge of the executive branch? We know that the executive branch, we just said that, the president. Who makes federal laws? Okay, who makes federal laws? Who are supposed to make federal laws, not just signing a piece of paper? Who makes the federal laws? Is the Congress, the state, and the Senate, and the House of Representatives, and the U.S. legislature. So we got the Congress, the senators, and the House of Representatives. They're the ones that's supposed to be making the laws. Well, it seems like we're getting a new law every day, and it's bypassing the Senate and the House. That ain't right. Okay. What are the 2 parts of the U.S. Congress? What are 2 parts of the U.S. Congress? And I think I just told you that. I did just tell you that. You got 2 parts. You got the Senate, and you have the House of Representatives. Or sometimes they just call it the House. The Senate and House of Representatives. So now let's go dig a little bit deeper into that. For senators, how many senators are there? Ding, 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 ding. How many senators are there? So they are 2 senators per state. That equals 100. 100 senators. So how long are senators in office? So when a senator is elected, how long does a senator stay in office? That is 6 years. 6 years. And then, so now it asks you one of your U.S. senators. So I guess the person who's taking the test has to give their U.S. senator. So we all know that the answer will vary. It depends on where they are located, where they're taking the test. And another side note for people who may not know, the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. residents and people that lives in the other U.S. territories, they do not have a U.S. senator. They're not represented by a U.S. senator. So D.C., Puerto Rico, Guam, those places are not represented by a senator. Now, moving on to the House of Representatives, how many people are in the House of Representatives? And that answer is 435. 435. I guess y'all only see during election time, they show all these different seats on the screen. And sometimes they'll be really close, like one side might lose one and the other one might lose another, or the midterms that's coming up next year, that's going to, change the balance of power in the House of Representatives. And 22, we elect the U.S. representative for how many years? So we got the senators for 6, then you got the president, then you got the House of Representatives. Yep, 2 years. Every 2 years, the House of Representatives, a lot of times they kind of change. And then it asks you to name your U.S. representative. Okay. Who does the U.S. senator represent? Who does the U.S. senator represent? So we have all those senators that's in Washington, D.C. Who are they representing? And I want to take a little side note. So we say that we are in a democratic, our government is democratic. It's not really. We are not in a democracy. We are in a representative republic. And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty. I messed it up. But my point, we are a republic. We are representative, so we vote people to represent us. Our vote, we are not representing ourselves directly. So what we do, we vote for people to represent us and then send them to Washington, D.C., and then we expect them to do what we need them to do. So like the representatives from Florida, this is the things that's pertaining to Florida, go to D.C. and take care of for us. And that's not happening. But that's the way it's supposed to happen. All right, moving forward. So why do some states have more representatives than other states? Why do some states have more representatives than other states? No, you know it. All right. Because of the population, because of the state's population, because they have more people. I mean, that's the same thing. I mean, they got this. The answer that they say is because of the state's population, because they have more people, because some states have more people. So it sounds like 3 different answers are saying the same thing. And then that's another side note. I like taking side notes. You remember when you hear that the electoral college, that's still another representative. It's like when we vote for the president, our vote really don't go for the president. We have a representative, that's the electoral college, that actually votes for the president, not us directly. And sometimes if we have so many people, so many votes, we can get into that later. But so what I wanted to say was, like, we know about when they were saying people of color were 1/3, when they were saying the people of color were not a full man or not a full woman. And so they've been saying that for years. They're calling us not a full person, full man, full 1/3 of a man. That's not the truth. What is the truth is they only gave us 1/3 of representation. So instead of, let's say, a white man or a white woman, you will be represented by 1 when they count you. But when they had the enslaved people, or the people of color, it took 1/3. So kids in the back, how many 1/3 does it take to equal 1? 3. It would take 3 people of color to equal 1 white person. That's what that meant. They wasn't saying that it was like that 1/3 of a human. No, you was just 1/3 of representation during the elections. So when you start hearing people saying that they call us 1/3 human and all that kind of stuff, that's not the truth. The truth was it's the representation. And then it goes back to the electoral college. And now I think they should do away with the electoral college. So now, instead of the slaves, it's kind of, they're using the prisoners. Yep. Yep. So you can have a small community and then build a whole lot of prisons in your area. I don't know if there are any of those areas around your area or in your neck of the woods. I know of some where they're way out in the boonies somewhere and they have a whole lot of prisons. So when you put all those prisons there, they get credit, they get representation for those prisoners, even though those prisoners can't vote. See how they can manipulate different things by playing with the prisoners. Okay. All right. Moving on. Number 26, we elect the president how many times a year? That's not the right way to answer that question. Yeah, we elect the president for how many years? We all know that. 4 years. And it's supposed to be the 2 terms. I guess the administration right now is trying to figure out a way to, I say, break the law and try to serve a 3rd term. Okay, what month do we vote for president? Vote president, we vote for him the same month every year. That is November. What is the name of the president of the United States right now? So the person should know who's in office. What is the name of the vice president of the United States right now? If the president can no longer serve, who becomes the president? The vice president. Vice president will step in and become the president. And side note, I think that's one of the things that they are trying to do with. Well, let me read this last one, then I'll tell you. Number 31, if both the president and the vice president can no longer serve, who becomes the president? That's the Speaker of the House. Okay, so we got that. So it's the president. President can't do it. Vice president can't do it. It's the Speaker of the House. So what there are some people are trying to do right now is, okay, since he can't serve, the current president not legally cannot run for president again. But they're trying to figure out a way, hey, what if we get somebody like the vice president to run, and then when he becomes the president, and have the present president to be the vice president, and then when he becomes in office, the vice president steps down and lets the vice president becomes the president. So that's one sneaky way of doing it. And probably another easier way, maybe easier, but you still got to take out 2 people. Got to get 2 people step out of the way. So if you have another election, your party wins, and your party decides to make the present president to be the Speaker of the House. Make him the Speaker of the House, and then have the president and the vice president who won, have them to step down, and then that Speaker of the House to step up and become the president for the 3rd time. So that's just like some ways I've heard what they're trying to do to manipulate the system so he can be. And he's just hit 100 days and they're already trying to figure out how to bend the rules and get him back in again. Okay. Here's another one for us, the military. Who is the commander in chief for the military? Who was my ultimate boss when I was in the military? And I respected whatever party it was, that was still my boss. Whether I liked them or not, that was my boss. So who is the commander in chief of the military? That's the president of the United States. Who signs the bills to become law? That's the president. Side note. I love some side notes. I saw some videos of the present president complaining about past presidents about how they're not really governing the presidency like they should. So what he was getting at was, the way you pass laws, you got to go through the House of Representatives, and then they got to go. Then it's got to pass the Senate, and then it's got to come across the president's desk. It goes. A lot of these bills go through a long process to be able to change laws, and so then after when it happens, it makes it to the president. So the president was complaining about past presidents about how they used a few executive orders, used some executive orders. So they some of it went the right way, some of it went through still the executive orders. So basically, the president now was saying the president past, they didn't know how to be a president because they kept signing all these executive orders. Well, at present, our present president has set a precedent that has never been done before, to where I think they said he's only signed 3 bills, I believe. That means they went through the Congress, they went through the House, they went through the Senate, made it to his desk. He signed them. That's only been 3. And he has signed over, I think, as of, I don't know, he could be signing something right now. He has signed over 120 executive orders, I believe, in less than 100 days. So what's so significant? So that's him. Instead of him going through Congress, instead of him going through the process, he's just been signing stuff. And a lot of those really not officially law, but people are taking it as law because he signed it as an executive order. But a lot of them is really not law. A lot of them are breaking laws. But yeah, if you're doing 120, that means you're trying to push a whole lot of stuff through real fast without the process of going through the Congress. Okay. So 34, who vetoes bills? The president. So let's say the House has passed something and the Senate gets it. The Senate passes it, goes to the president, him to sign it and make it to a law. President don't like it, so he can veto it. So that means he just killed it. It's not going to become law. But it is a possibility that the Congress can still pass it. What you call it? I forget. But anyway, they can still get it. It takes a whole lot to be able to pass it anyway. But I believe it's possible. What does the president's cabinet do? What does the president's cabinet do? I know a lot of you seen on TV the cabinet, the different people that the president has around him for the wise decisions, the wise information. So that I suppose the answer is advise the president. I hope he's supposed to be giving him wise information. So the next question is, if the person was taking the test, they would have to answer 2 of these. Could you tell me 2? Just 2 is a lot of them. Like, what is this? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16. 16. So out of 16, can you just give me 2? So what are 2 cabinet level positions? What are 2 cabinet level positions? I know you've heard several of these names on the news a lot because a lot what's been going on. So do you know 2? And part of the problem, I might say, why is it so controversial? Because a lot of these positions, the people have been put in those positions, they're basically dismantling the organization that they are over. So you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so we're talking about the Secretary of Agriculture for the farmers and the fields and feeding America. Then the Secretary of Commerce, the Secretary of Defense, I know you've been hearing about the issues that's going on in the Secretary of Defense. That's the military. Secretary of Education. I know you heard of her. That's planning. She was hired to shut down the Department of Education, Department of Energy, Department of Home. No, I'm sorry, the Secretary of Health and Human Services. I know you heard about the person that's over that. The Secretary of Homeland Security, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Secretary of Interior, Secretary of Labor. That's the ones that set the hours, the ones that's trying to get kids to go to work in unsafe conditions. They were over, like, make sure OSHA, make sure everything was safe. So the people that was trying to do that, a lot of those people got fired. Secretary of State, I think that's Rubio, because he came from Florida. Secretary of Transportation, Secretary of Treasury, over the money. Secretary of Veteran Affairs. He's been another one where they say he is a lot of the people, a lot of veterans lost their job. A lot of people working in the VA lost their job. So there's been a lot of cuts and cutbacks. Then an attorney general is supposed to be the president, the lawyer for the country, but so far they've been lawyer for the president. And there's been a lot of unjust things being passed, being done under that new attorney general. And then a vice president. And all those are different cabinet positions. All right, number 37. I don't know, are you learning anything? Is you learning anything? I am, even just reviewing this just to refresh stuff in my memory. What does the judicial branch do? What does the judicial branch do? I know y'all know that. They review laws, they explain laws, they resolve disputes, disagreements. They decide if a law goes against the Constitution or not. They decide if a law goes against the Constitution or not. So what does that mean? So the Congress could pass a law, send it to the president pass a law, and then the the executive could still say that's not constitutional. Even when a president signs a bunch of executive orders and the Supreme Court looks at it and then looks at the Constitution, that's not constitutional. So that means the president's supposed to back down and do it constitutional way. But at present, we don't have that. We have a Supreme Court that's saying this it's not constitutional. It's against the Constitution. So stop what you're doing. And they're refusing to stop what they're doing. So it's like a soap opera going on. You better pay attention. You have to pay attention to what's going on. So what is the highest court in the United States? The Supreme Court. Do you know how long? I said they might have, this is how many justices. Who is the Chief Justice? Y'all know the Chief Justice? Under the Constitution, some powers belong to the federal government. What is one power of the federal government? But before, I want to go back to the justices again. Do you know how long, when they get appointed, how long are they appointed for? Do you know? They're appointed for the rest of their life. So they're there, longer than the House, longer than the president, longer than the senators. So the senators, they got 6 years. So they're there a while. And some senators just keep getting elected over and over and over again, especially when they don't have anybody running against them. They make sure nobody's running against them. So they continue to be in office for decades and decades. But they do have to go back and get elected in. But Supreme Court, they're there for life. So now, if you can think back, so why it's so contested when a particular party is in power, they try to put their person in. So right now, it's more Republicans in the Supreme Court. So we know the more of the rulings are going to be more conservative leaning or Republican leaning. And then if there are more Democrats, it would be more liberal leaning. But my opinion, it should be neutral. It should be, the Supreme Court should be neutral. There's a lot of positions that should be neutral, especially on the local level. Like here, in our city, I feel like the police, that shouldn't be a political position. The judges, especially local judges, shouldn't be political. The school board, I can't even remember what happened with that vote. I know the school board here was non-political, non-partisan, and I guess some Republican decided he wanted to make it partisan. I hope the people voted it down, but that's what they want. I think all this partisan stuff should stay out of certain areas because let me move on. 41, under the Constitution, some powers belong to the, I just said that. So, what is one of the powers of the federal government? So the federal government, and it's little sketchy on this first answer, but to print money, to declare war, to create an army, and to make treaties. So those are different things from the federal government. Under the Constitution, some power belongs to the states. What is one of the powers of the states? You remember during the Civil War, what was one of the problems? Wait a minute, why am I asking this? It might be later on, so let me just stick with the questions. I'm trying to stick with the questions. Okay, what are some of the powers of the states? Provide schooling and education. Provide schooling and education. The Department of Education does not educate the students in a particular state. The Department of Education does not tell the state what to teach the students. So people fussing and screaming, we need to get rid of the Department of Education because they teaching our kids all this bad stuff. The Department of Education is not the one that educates the children. It's the state. So getting rid of the Department of Education, and you got a jacked up school system, still gonna be a jacked up school system. So it's not that. So, all right. So they provide school for education. The states provide protection, the police. Technically, our federal government is actively working on taking over the police departments. So that's something to pay attention to. Provide safety, like fire departments. Give out driver's license. And if y'all know, y'all got a couple more, right? I think, what is it, May 7th? I forgot the dates. You got to get that new driver's license, that new nationwide driver's license, that real ID and driver's license. Yeah, that's through the states. You get a driver's license from the states, or you get an ID from the states. But the whole entire country has come together, I believe, under the federal government to say that you have to have a certain driver's license. It's called a real ID, and you need to have your birth certificate to get it. So I think I just recently did a show about how some people are having a hard time because it's around 18 million Americans. I'm talking about legal Americans. I always need about 18 million legal Americans that don't have a birth certificate. So they're gonna have a hard time getting licensed or IDs. And again, it's just a few days from now, everybody's supposed to have that ID. So I was doing a call out, asking people, hey, if you know got an elderly person nearby and can help them if they don't have their ID, or do they even know they're supposed to be getting a new ID, check it. Ask them, can you take a look at it? And if you don't see it, I think it's a star. If they don't have that real ID information on it, let me see. I'm sorry. If they don't have that real ID, they will what is it? Some of the things real quick. They're not going to be able to fly domestic. So you can't, now, I'm not even talking about leaving the country. You can't fly domestic. You can't get on a plane and fly anywhere without a real ID. Some place you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to drive. You're not going to be able to get into federal buildings. That's probably, the list is probably going to expand. So then, not, I don't know if the ID that you have already will expire, and they're not going to, like, you try to cash checks and different things like that, open up accounts, anyway, taking care of different types of business. They may start saying we don't accept it anymore because it's not a real ID. So it's very vital. It's very important that everybody get this ID. All right. And then what we got? The states approve zoning and land usage. So the states supposed to look out for their state. Who is the governor of your state right now? So whatever state you're living in, they would be expecting you to know what your governor name is. Also, number 44, what is the capital of your state? I think there's a lot of Americans don't know the capital of their own state. Some of them probably don't even know the capital of the country. They don't know a lot of these things. Some of them don't care. Number 45, what are two major political parties in the United States? I think we should know. We got Democratic, Republican, and the third party. We got multiple other parties, but like the Independent Party. So what is the political party for the president right now? Does everybody know? What is the name of the Speaker of the House? There are, time is gone. What are 4 amendments in the Constitution about who can vote? Describe one of them. So instead of making new laws about voting, it's already in the Constitution. Tell you who can vote, who can't vote. Okay, so do you know what is one thing that you have to be able to vote? Okay, number 1, a citizen 18 years or older. So that's 2 parts. As long as you are a citizen, and like I said, they asking find a passport to prove, not passport, your birth certificate, prove that you are a citizen and that you're 18. The next part, you don't have to pay a poll tax to vote. In the olden days, how they kept people of color from voting was putting the poll tax. Had to pay a poll tax, had to pay some money to go vote. Then they didn't have the money, they couldn't vote. Then if they probably scraped up the money, probably still got beat up by going to vote. So that's where any citizen can vote. Women and men can vote. So we know it was a particular time when women couldn't vote. There was a particular time where only men of European descent could vote. So people of any other colors or races did not have the ability to vote. Now, any citizen can vote. And then a male citizen of any race can vote. So it used to be divided by citizens, meaning races couldn't vote, women couldn't vote, or you have to have money to vote. 49, what is one responsibility that is only for the United States citizen? So here we go. You as a United States citizen already. So these are people who are trying to become a citizen. They love America and they're trying to become a citizen. But there's a lot of citizens that nonchalant. So here's one of the responsibilities of being a citizen. Do you know something that you're supposed to do? What is a responsibility of a responsible citizen? 2 things. Number 1 is serve on a jury. And I've just been called once out of all my years. One time I was trying so hard to get on that jury. I wanted to stay. I wanted to be out of work. So I wanted to get on the jury. But I made it past the first round. and they said we could leave for lunch, I think, and then I came back in for the second round, and I think I got it sent home the second time around. Man, but anywho, and then the second thing, vote in a federal election. Vote in the federal election. I think it should be voting in all elections, but for a citizen of the United States, one of your responsibilities is to vote in the federal election. And number 50, name one right only for United States citizens. What is something that only United States citizens have? So one, I'm going back. United States citizens can vote. Non-citizens can't vote. Non-citizens can't be on the jury. So here's another. What is another right? United States citizens. So they can vote. What we're saying, vote in federal election, and a citizen can run for federal office. Non-citizens cannot run for federal office. So we just made it through 50 of the questions on the test. So I will call it a night and probably pick it up later, the other 50. How did you do? How did you do? Out of 50 questions, how many questions do you think that you got right? Would you think you know enough to become a United States citizen? Or do you think you know enough to be able to remain being a United States citizen? Just think about it. I think a lot of Americans take it for granted. They take the citizenship for granted. There are so many people around the world that would love to be in your shoes. A pair of scissors. I wonder what that was. But yes, there are. I take that back. It's not millions of people that would mind being in your shoes, no matter what situation you are in life, no matter how much money you have, how you might think you're poor. You can be homeless with thinking that you have nothing. Did you know that there are billions of people around the world that's wishing and praying that they could be in your shoes, just to be in this border? We throw away more things than a lot of these people have in their entire life. You believe that? It's like that out there. There are billions of people that would give their life, they give everything to be a citizen of the United States. So I would ask all of you who are citizens, don't take it for granted and do everything you can to hold on to it. When you see our Constitution under attack, it's your job to defend it by friend or foe. So it's getting real out there. It's getting real. It's a lot of changes, but you got to pay attention. Pay attention. Don't just continue to just party, shaking booty, twerking, and not paying attention what's going on. Shaking that butt can get bit by something. Just that's all I can say. Try to say it the quiet way. And I would like to go over some of the executive orders. You wouldn't believe what some of those executive orders are saying. But a lot of these things are getting signed overnight when people are not paying attention and the news reporters are not around. But again, just pay attention. Okay? I love you to life. And until next time, Joe out.